Hello, and welcome to Hofstra Law School's Video Viewpoint series. I'm Kristen McMahon. With me today is Professor Robert A. Baruch Bush, co-editor of the recent publication Transformative Mediation, a Sourcebook. Professor Bush is also the Harry H. Raines Distinguished Professor of Arbitration and Alternative Dispute Settlement Law at Hofstra Law School. Why don't we start with you telling us a bit about what transformative mediation is?
Fair question. So let's just back up one step, Kristen, about what's mediation generally. And generally speaking, people understand mediation is a process where a third party comes in and helps the parties to reach some sort of mutually agreeable settlement of whatever issues they're disagreeing about. Transformative mediation, which is an approach originated by myself and my partner and colleague and co-author and co-editor Joe Folger, sees it a little bit differently. We see mediation as a process where this third party is helping the parties to have a conversation where, in the process of talking about those issues and looking for some possible solution, a change takes place. So there's the word transformation. It just means a change takes place. What kind of change? A change in how the parties understand themselves and each other, and how they are acting towards themselves and each other in that process. Let me give you a little bit of background in terms of how we came to this. Our first book on this was written in 1994, but we had for about 10 years previously been working together in a mediation clinic that started here at Hofstra very early on. We had a mediation clinic here at Hofstra, we still do, but we had one back in 1985. And I directed that clinic at that time and taught it together with Joe Folger. And what we found was, in working with clients in all kinds of cases, landlord-tenant cases, consumer cases, cases between neighbors, that what mattered to the clients in these cases was not just the outcome that was achieved, whether it was a settlement and a settlement of what kind, but also the experience that they had in interacting with each other in the room in the mediation. The experience of having a different kind of conversation, if that happened. The source book is really just what the title says. I actually happen to have a copy here. If it's worth looking at, that's what it looks like. It's a nice thick volume. It's about 500 pages. And as the subtitle says, it is a compendium of resources for conflict intervention practitioners and programs, for people who actually do this or study it or think about it. This volume contains sections on the theory of transformative mediation and other approaches and other applications of the transformative idea. It contains sections on research that's been done on this approach and where it's been used and how it works and what its impacts are. And it contains about a dozen chapters, each one of which focuses on its application in a different area of conflict, a different type of conflict. So there are chapters on conflict about using transformative mediation in the workplace, in family conflicts, including not only divorce, but also elder conflict, which is an increasingly important realm, in multi-party conflict, like environmental disputes and conflicts over where to site a waste management facility, for example. In all of these different areas, there are chapters written by experts in those areas that actually describe how the transformative mediation process has been used there, how it's worked, and what the sort of impacts have been. The truth is, this book has and was sort of put together to provide this resource base for a number of different audiences. Certainly, practitioners of mediation and other third-party processes will find this useful, whether or not they follow this particular approach, in order to find out what it is, where it's been used, whether they have some interest in it, to become at least educated about it, regardless of whether they subscribe to this particular approach. Scholars will find this is every chapter in the book is, if I don't say so myself, meticulously researched and footnoted. So for scholars who are interested in this type of approach to conflict, this is a really absolutely priceless resource. For administrators, court administrators, often ADR programs are connected to courts. Courts refer people to mediation, to arbitration. For any kind of a court officer or judge or administrator who wants to know about this process, again, a valuable resource. And for students to find out, to be taught from. We, having just published this volume, it's not yet used, I don't think, widely in any courses, but it's beginning to be used in courses on ADR, especially as a resource volume for students so they can find out about this. Our institute is the Institute for the Study of Conflict Transformation, ISCT, and we have a very nice website hosted by Hofstra. That's in part because although we're an independent nonprofit, we started up in 1999. We've been hosted by Hofstra Law School since the beginning. And essentially our institute, we conceive of ourselves as a think tank. So for us what that means is that our job, our mission, is to develop and disseminate resources on this particular transformative approach to conflict, whether it's used in mediation, in the facilitation of group processes, in direct face-to-face negotiation between parties. We've been, for the last close to 15 years, writing papers and books on this subject. So the Sourcebook is our most recent publication. We have several earlier publications that the Institute sells through its website, which is transformativemediation.org, real easy to remember. We also conduct training in our approach to mediation and has developed curricular materials to support those trainings that are used not just by us, but widely by mediation trainers around the country.
What are some opportunities that exist here at Hofstra Law School for students or prospective students interested in mediation and ADR?
Well, they came to the right place, let's put it that way, to begin with. We offer courses at Hofstra on everything that I've mentioned, actually. We have a survey course on the whole range of ADR processes. I teach that course, and two other faculty members teach that course. We have courses on mediation, on negotiation, on arbitration. Those are all classroom courses, content courses, but we also offer skills courses where students can actually learn how to practice the skills involved in mediation or in negotiation, and that fits into our larger skills curriculum, because we do try here not only to educate students intellectually, but also in terms of practices that help them to put these ideas into operation for the benefit of their clients. At the further end of that, we have actually a clinical program in transformative mediation here at the law school, which is, I think, probably unique. There are other law schools that have mediation clinics. I don't believe there's another that has a clinic that uses the transformative approach, and it's a good, interesting example of how and why that approach is useful. This is a clinic that we run in conjunction with a local family services agency, and the clients are parents and teens, or grandparents and teens, basically families who have a conflict between the generations. Often these express themselves in problems at school and problems in the home. They, in another era or in other jurisdictions, might wind up being in the juvenile justice system. And instead, this agency, Family and Children's Association, has a program for offering mediation to these families, and under the direction of our mediation clinic director, Professor Boyarin, here at the law school, our Hofstra students actually go after training and under the supervision of Professor Boyarin and help to mediate these cases, help the families, help the parents and the children to have the kind of conversations that I started talking about earlier, where they can express themselves better and more fully to each other, and they can develop a new way of understanding where the other one is coming from. We've operated this program, I think, now for 3 or 4 years. It's very successful. And students have an opportunity to actually put these skills into practice. We also have, beginning to have, and it's getting more well-developed, competitions, intramural, just as there are moot court competitions for students to practice sort of in competition with other schools, their trial skills. we now have moot court, or I shouldn't say moot court, we have mock mediation competitions, mock arbitration competitions, and Hofstra students are participating and in fact have begun a dispute resolution society now at the law school to encourage students who are interested in this area to explore those kinds of opportunities.
Well, thank you very much for your time. For more information about Hofstra Law School, visit law.hofstra.edu.